Welcome to When Nerds Learn to Fly. I am not affiliated with Walt Disney World and I no longer work there, but I used to. I used to work as a show finisher in the aesthetic maintenance of the park. Today's vlog is about how Animal Kingdom is kind of a snapshot in time, how working there as a show finisher, I learned something new every single day. As a show finisher, you don't have the leeway that you do as one of the creators in Imagineering. But as show finishers and as aesthetic maintenance, we were to keep things looking exactly as they were. But sometimes, over time, we weren't quite sure what they used to be. So we would use documentation. But anyone who has worked there in maintenance, whether you're a mechanic or an electrician or a computer ride show tech or a ride show tech, we all know that the documentation is sometimes bad and sometimes non-existent. And with aesthetic maintenance, it's even worse. A lot of times with these projects, I could have just guessed. I had coworkers that would just guess. I always took a lot of pride in doing a lot of research and trying to figure out exactly what the creators were trying to achieve. This meant sometimes looking at my travel pictures. We were lucky enough to get to travel all over the world. This sometimes meant researching online. Always looking for something that identified with what they were trying to do. Today I'm going to talk about one of the projects that I was working on. It was a giraffe feeder. It was a 12-foot tall concrete tree. And this concrete tree had been dropped off at our shop. We had outfitted it with a lot of new attachments so that it could be enrichment for the giraffes. We had browse feeders where they could put browse. There was a couple of places to put 2-liter bottles that would be frozen that would slowly dispense cool water throughout the day. There was even a timed deer feeder that they would put treats in, and treats would pop out of different compartments of the tree for the giraffes to come up to the tree. Well, it came to the point that it was time to paint it. Again, I wanted things to be very authentic. Looked for documentation. There wasn't any documentation on it. So I started to try to research it. My boss, he was fairly new at the time, and we had just come back from Kenya. He asked us, hey, did you see any trees like this while you were in Kenya? And I'm thinking to myself, no, we didn't see any trees this large, this big, like this in Kenya. Mostly what we saw were acacia trees, and I started to research online, and I couldn't find anything online of Northeast Africa having any trees like this. And I'm looking through all the pictures and the things that are online. I can't find anything there. I look through all of my photos and my videos from Kenya, and I can't find anything there. Well, at this point, my curiosity is off the charts. I even spent my entire weekend trying to figure out what was going on. And what I found out is really interesting. So you look at the timing of things. When I was doing this tree, it was about 2011, maybe a little bit later. We had come back from Kenya recently, from a vacation. The park was built in 1998, and usually the development of the park takes several years to get to that development stage. You're looking at the 1990s, and I find an article that says that the cedar trees of Kenya were decimated in the 90s. They were finding 80 to 90% of cedar trees were either dead or dying. A 1994 report titled Assessment of Forest Diseases in Kenya, with special emphasis on cedar decline, said many of the cedar trees are over 500 years old and are dying over a very short 5 to 10 year period of time. Thousands of hectares of cedar trees are dying in several places in Kenya. The 500-year-old trees that they describe fit our giraffe feeder to a T. So it seems like our mystery was solved. 1998 had been over 14 years. The stumps of the dying cedar would have been long gone, devoured by termites and trampled by elephants. So what is amazing here is, even though our Imagineers didn't realize it at the time, they captured a story about conservation. Here we were, many years later, the cedar trees don't exist anymore. The Imagineers had no idea that these huge trunks that they captured in their drawings and in their photographs that they were planning on using for Kilimanjaro Safari wouldn't be there for future generations. It's really funny how our creators at Walt Disney World, when they try so hard to replicate an area, they're actually recording history. The East Africa that the Imagineers saw in the 1990s, it's not quite what we saw in 2011. They not only captured the essence of East Africa, but they captured a small part of history. The storylines at Disney are still evolving. Now they tell a story of conservation that the Imagineers never tended to tell. That was just kind of one of my neat experiences working as a show finisher at Disney's Animal Kingdom. So if you have any questions about this vlog or any of my other vlogs, please comment below and I'll do my best to answer any questions that you might have about what it was like to work for Walt Disney World, or honestly anything else. And if you liked this video, please go ahead and hit that subscribe button. I'm going to be doing vlogs on Sunday that talk a little bit about my past at Disney, my future after leaving Disney, a little bit about quitting the job, a little bit about the business that we're trying to start. And if you'll just hit the subscribe button, you can catch us here on Sundays. And it was good seeing you again. Talk to you next week. Thanks, guys.
Always an adventure.
Yeah, that's us.